Hi. So I'm in Alabama right now. Today is the 11th of January, 2021. And so on Facebook, I saw that in the state of Texas, it's snowing or it snowed, which the last time I remember it snowing in Texas was 2010. Yeah, in 2010, there was this snowfall that occurred right before this situation in reference to my daughter. And I had repeatedly requested for help in reference to my daughter getting special needs assistance. Nobody in Carrollton Farmers Branch Independent School District of McCoy Elementary School wanted to do their job correctly. And I did what I could to focus and keep, my attention as best as possible to maintain a good mood despite what was going on. It was such a bad snowstorm that it was literally like a whiteout when driving at night, to the point where there was a semi-truck that didn't have any markings on the back, and if I wasn't able to pay attention when he just stopped in the middle of the highway instead of, pulling off to the side of the road, putting on his four-way flashers, stuff like that. If I didn't pay attention, I'd have slammed right into the back of his semi-truck. But I was able to pay attention and drive around, avoid hitting that concrete median, and continue back to my house at the time in Carrollton. The time before that of it snowing in the state of Texas, oh, by the way, that time in 2010 was in the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas. So then, the time before then, it was 2003 that it had snowed in the state of Texas, which was ironic because it was about the beginning of the year as well in 2003. And in San Antonio, Texas, that's just very, very odd, obviously. And it was shortly before my biological sister and biological parents moved to the state of Texas from Illinois. I had done what I could to focus my attention and keep a positive outlook on things despite what I was dealing with in reference to, my now dead ex-husband. Again, I was in a different part of the city and had not seen him in 2 days. However, there were a few inches of snow in San Antonio, Texas that year, which was very odd because it's below the Mason-Dixon line, and it usually doesn't snow in the state of Texas, especially in a city like San Antonio. So then, in reference to odd weather, whether or not you believe certain things, when I had wound up in Washington State after that whole Cowboys dance hall thing, that year in Vancouver, Washington, it snowed, and it had been over 10 years since it had snowed in Vancouver, Washington. And I was, again, doing the best I could to maintain a positive attitude despite what was going on in that zapping situation, as well as the fact that I had to do certain legal things reference to keeping both my son and my daughter safe after what occurred as far as McCoy Elementary School of Carrollton, Farmers Branch Independent School District. Do what I could as best as I can while being zapped. And so, yeah, there was actually almost a foot of snow that year in Vancouver, Washington, 2013. Then, in 2018, there was a snowstorm all up and down the area of Washington State, which was, however many years I had been working on my Medal of Honor art project, and some stuff that had occurred and had been realized. Just an odd little thing I noticed, paid attention to. So I'm doing what I can to focus, maintain my positive attitude as best as I can, despite the additional pain that I'm in other regards. Some things that have occurred, as well as a whole bunch of stuff that has not occurred. See, that's the portion in reference to what has not occurred that should have occurred. And so I wonder what this weather situation is in reference to. Because I know I'm doing the best I can to maintain a positive attitude and sustain that. However, there are certain little issues here and there that have been, I'll say, problematic. However, I do what I can to maintain a positive attitude, even still. So I'm driving on my way back from originally in the area of DC and Virginia to then Georgia and the Georgia Guidestones, which is irony that the snow apparently occurred the day that I was driving to the Georgia Guidestones, and I'm still processing what occurred there, as well as during my time on the East Coast for this past week. Yeah, it's been a bit, a lot actually. So, doing what I can to maintain a positive attitude despite a whole bunch of stuff. And so, it's going to be interesting. Definitely very interesting. So, I'm going to end this particular little broadcast. I'm going to hope for the best. But you know what my saying is? Hope for the best while expecting the worst to be prepared for all situations possible, as best as possible. So, it's going to be what it's going to be.